Hi guys. Hello everybody. Good afternoon. Good morning to everyone on Facebook and those of you on Instagram. Rafael, Hossam, how's it going? Oh wow, amazing. So waiting for our Facebook friends. That's awesome. Welcome to my live talk, everybody. As promised, I'm back. I don't have my glass of wine. I have to consider that for tomorrow. But good morning and good afternoon to everybody. Before I start the talk and I tell you what I have in store for you this afternoon, I'd like to remind you all that English 1 is now online. We launched our virtual classrooms yesterday. And so if any of you are interested in joining one of our virtual classrooms or have online lessons or online private lessons, or any other online service, we have a variety available. Please let us know, touch base, and we'll send you the relevant information. And I'm going to leave a link to the email address you can contact in the description box below. And I'll remind you of that at the end of the talk. So who do we have? How's it, everybody? Hi, Alice. You sneaky. All right. So today, today's talk is the first part of a few that I'm going to be doing. That is related to, how's it, Alice? That is related to vocabulary. We often get asked about how to deal with vocabulary and how to learn it and how to retain it and how to remember it and how to use it. We get asked a lot, but as teachers, we also often try to advise students on how they are able to, or how they should help themselves with vocabulary. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And today I'm going to give you some numbers as well, just to give you an idea of the type of challenge that all language students have. So for me, it was more of a, today's talk is more of a creating awareness of, before you try to learn a whole new bunch of vocabulary, taking a step back to the beginning to see that your basis is there, right? So that you don't have those gaps. So the talk is about where the vocabulary is hiding. So all of you have at one point or another studied English, either at home, at school, in high school, at a language school like English 1, and therefore have learned vocabulary, a whole lot of vocabulary in some cases. But where is it? We're going to try and activate that. So the first step to increasing your vocabulary is to activate the vocabulary that you already know. So think about it in a different way. So it is like, I don't know why I do it, but every time I go to the grocery store, I buy tuna. I have about, 25 cans of tuna in my cupboard. I'm never going to be without. It's something that I always do. So it's the same thing with vocabulary. You tend to try to go and learn new vocabulary, and you find yourself going, but I know that already. How many times have you been inside a class and the teacher has started her lesson about sport and puts up all the beautiful vocabulary related to sport, and you look at this and go, I know this already, yet you don't use it. So that is where the conundrum lies, is taking what you already know that is sitting here inside your bank in your head and bringing it out into the open. This is what we need to do before you even begin to consider new vocabulary, right? So did you know that there are approximately 600 600,000 English words? Yes, 600,000. I promise you, I don't use more than maybe 8,000, maybe 9,000 words. I mean, let's be realistic here. And the only reason I know this, hello, Buddy, hi, Carol. The only reason I know this is because I've done some research. So the bank of vocabulary that one learns is pretty set based on a certain level. So let's think about it for a second, and then you'll sort of get the perspective that I'm getting at. So if you are studying at an A1 level, so let's just say for argument's sake, you finish studying beginner, you will have learned 500 new words. Waka waka, I see you. Oh, hello. So 500 new words at beginner. At elementary, you will have learned 1,000 new words, 1,000 new words. At pre-intermediate and intermediate, you will have learned 2,000 new words. At upper intermediate, 4,000 new words. At C1, 8,000 new words. So C1 is at advanced level, and it goes up to a proficiency level where you'd be learning 16,000 new words. So from A1 to a proficiency level, you're looking at about 30,000 new words. Now, going back to the original number, 600,000 is the bank of vocabulary that the English language has. If you study from beginner to a proficiency level, let's take it back. Let's be realistic and say beginner to upper intermediate or pre-advanced. That is a lot of words. You're looking at 15, 16,000 words right there. The question I have for you is, based on your level, now you're talking, think of yourself only. Hi, guys. Hi, Chief. Oh, hello. Think of yourself. No one is around. So consider yourself. You've studied English. You know what level you reached. If you finished your level at an intermediate, do you have 4,000 words in your bank, and can you use them? This is where I started thinking about my own bank of vocabulary. As a native speaker, I promise you, I do not use 31,000 words every day. I don't. There's no ways. All right. I actually should sit and consider this a little deeply. So keeping that in mind, this is why I think it is really, really important to take a step back from learning new vocabulary, constantly trying to learn new vocabulary, and try to activate the one that you have inside. So I have a few, four really useful tips on how you can awaken that passive knowledge and start using your vocabulary. So something to consider, you know more vocabulary than you use, always, even in your own language. So your passive knowledge will always be more. So ideally what we want to do is we want to unlock this room that has got that vocabulary. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do, hey everyone, translated version of a word that you don't know in English, stop it. So ditch the translator. Question, what do you do when you can't come up with a word in your own language? Do you look it up on a translator? Do you open a dictionary to look for the word? No, I didn't think so. I don't do that in my own language, right? So what do? This goes. So you immediately start your body starts to change. Yes, very good. Body language. Thank you. You use body language, facial expression. Your eyebrows are going to go, and you're going to try and describe, or you're going to try and find another word to describe that word that you can't find, or even use a synonym. So synonyms in the language that you're learning might be a little tough, because, I mean, if you don't know the word, you probably won't have a synonym for it, possibly. So maybe a description is easier, right? So consider this example. What's the name of the object we use to rub out pencil? Anybody? Anyone? What do we call the object that we use to rub out pencil? What is this called? So I've done two things. I've picked up the object. I've shown it. For some reason, I can't remember this word, and it happens. Haha, Raphael. An eraser, yes. A razor is the thing that you use to shave your beard, but very, very good. Eraser. So, right. What I've done is two things. I've used a selection of other words to indicate that I don't know the word. What is the object called that we use to rub out? And I've used a description of what the object does. And then I've also picked up and shown you the object, right? Instead of looking up in my dictionary. Apart from the fact that we don't walk around with a dictionary anymore, that's kind of old-fashioned. We all just would go onto Google. Somebody keeps telling me that, Google. Yes, a rubber. In South Africa, we also say a rubber, but internationally, a rubber is also used for another object, which we will get into another day. So you want to ditch the translator and squeeze your mind for a description or a synonym that's going to help you tell the person that you're talking to what it is that you want. I don't know if you guys watched a really beautiful movie called Marley and Me. Kind of sad, but funny at the same time, but pretty sad. During the course of the movie, one of the characters is there. She's having a bit of a moment, and she says to her husband, "What do you call the thing that we pay every month on our house? It begins with an M." And her husband says, "Mortgage." So that's what she did. She started by saying, "What do you call that? We pay it at the end of the month." So first of all, your face, your expressions, your eyes, your finger will go, your body will tell the person, "I don't know the word, help me, help me, help me." And then you will use other words. So the object here, I'm talking too much. The object here is, not only are you going to eventually come up with the word, or somebody is going to tell you it's an eraser or a rubber if you're in South Africa, but in the process, you are strengthening your vocabulary because you have used vocabulary that you don't normally use to come up with the word that you are missing. For example, the object that is used to. So, Cami, hello, teacher. So, you've done many, many things in order to come up with that word. So, it's sort of like brownie points for you for that. So, ditch the translator, forget about it, sit back. And you know what? There's something else that you have to consider. People actually aren't in a hurry all the time. They're actually okay to sit and wait for you to come up with a word or even help you with it. I mean, how many times in your own language do you speak with someone and you don't know something, or you've forgotten a word, or you don't know what to say, and you just say, "Well, I don't know," or "Let me think about it." And sometimes we don't even say that. We're like, it's natural. You know, so just remember that it's not your language, you're learning it, but treat it like it were your own language, like it were your first language, and sit back and, you know, think about it for a moment. We are very patient people, actually, if you give us a chance. Who's joined us? Yes, for those that are watching on YouTube, I am also live on Instagram. Hello, Instagram. Hello, Elian. Okay, so that's number one. Let's go to number two. So I'm really glad that Elian is on, because she is going to attest to what I say next. Who else? Raphael, I think you'll know this. So you have to say no to go-to words. So let me elaborate. Those of you who I have taught will know that I refuse certain words to be used in my classes. And that goes for me too. Hello, Pacific English, all the way from Panama. Wow, I'm honored. There are certain words that even in my own language, I try not to use because I'm so bored by them. So in my classes, I don't want to hear students using good, nice, and like. I don't want to know about it because there are tons of other words that we can use to substitute those. Other words that we can try and avoid using as a step up. So once you have eliminated the use of like, good, and nice, and you have started using, yes, I can see Elianette is having a laugh. Laugh, laugh. You know I'm right. Once you've eliminated the use of those three, you can move it up, step it up a notch. Words that I like to substitute with other words are really and thing. Really and thing. Those two also. Very as well. Very, yeah. Very, really, and thing. So let me give you an example. So instead of saying very big, we can say, anyone? Instead of saying very big, what can we say, guys? Starts with an H. One of them starts with an H. Anyone? Yes! Huge! Points, points. Good. Huge. So please use huge, enormous, gigantic. There are so many wonderful words that you can use instead of that. Yes, Chief, well done. So you want to use huge. How about another one? Really angry. What can you say instead of saying really angry? Anyone? Wow, mad. That's good. I was thinking of one that begins with an F. Mad is good. Anyone? Three, two, one. Elianeth wins. Yes, furious. Excellent. She knows me. Furious, Chief. Well done. All right, I've got another one for you. The little metal object that we use to open the door. Instead of saying the thing that we use to open the door. The little metal object that we use to open a door. No, not to open, to unlock the door. Anyone? Anyone? 3, 2, 1. Jacqueline! Well done! It's a key. Jacqueline, welcome. Amazing. All right. Yes. So you see, you guys know these words, but I never hear them. I don't hear students using these words. They don't say, oh, the situation is making me really furious. No, the situation is really making me angry. So try other words. Oh, Abdullah, hello. Welcome this afternoon. Welcome. All right, so just to recap, saying no to go-to words. The go-to words that I am recommending that you stay away from, which I know you all use, are good, nice, like, very, really, and thing. Sorry, I had to think about it for a second. And thing. One that I am at the moment trying to navigate out of my brain is think. One of the words that I'm trying to sort of like not use, but I want to use other words. Abdullah, I'll tell you later what my favorite coffee is. No, I haven't drank too much coffee there, I promise. All right. So the next one, I know you guys are not going to like me much for this one here, but unfortunately, it is the truth. And that is you have to write. Yes. The thing that you do with the activity, not the thing, the activity that you do with a pen or pencil and a notebook. So why is writing important? So unfortunately, for those of you who don't like writing, I am going to be that person who tells you that you will cut the process of activating your vocabulary in half if you don't write. I know. I'm terrible, I know, right? But I would rather be the person to tell you now. You've probably been told this 100 times from your teachers and everybody else that is learning language, but you have to write. The reason why you have to write is because by writing, you're using the vocabulary in context. Memorizing those long lists of words that I know you have all done before is pretty much pointless, because if it were as easy as memorizing words, then we wouldn't be here today, right? We would just memorize a dictionary. So you have to write. So I'm specifically talking to people who do not like to write, be it English or your own language. Use the online world. So there are two things that you can do. First thing is use social media. So I belong to, hi, Alison. Wow, it's been so long. Hey, guys. Especially in this particular moment in our lives, we're all kind of stuck at home. This is the perfect opportunity for you guys to join some forums. So discussion groups or chats that you can join. Just like you're doing here, I'm seeing people that are writing little messages, etc. Now you're only writing 1 or 2 words, which is great. But there are some forums available out there or discussion groups available out there that also speak to specific topics that you might enjoy, that you can actually type up thoughts and ideas. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's a way for you to write. So it's going to give you that opportunity. And also, it builds your confidence. Like, hi, Saleh. It builds your confidence in using that vocabulary. So if you are able to write it, then you're able to use it when you speak. There's no question about it. It's just a matter of confidence. On Friday, I was chatting to some of my students where I said, how interesting is it that when we are amongst friends and non-native speakers, we chat and we get talking and we share ideas. And the moment a native speaker walks into the group, everyone's quiet and they look at each other. You don't need to lose your confidence when it comes to native speakers. Use what you have learned and use it in your speaking. All right. So remember, if you can write it, you can use it in your speaking. You just need to be confident and go for it. And remember that most native speakers are really cool people. You know? We'll wait for you. Hi, Aziz. Hello, Shady. Nice to see you guys. So going back, the social media, use social media to your advantage. There are tons out there that you can use. Loads of forums, loads of discussions, and that's a way for you to get writing. The other thing that you can do, and this is, it's pretty out there, but is start a blog. And perhaps you can start a collaborative blog. Don't know if you've heard of it before, but that is a way for you and another person to write together, perhaps on your experience as a language learner. There are loads of free platforms that you can use, and you can make so many new friends that way as well. So writing. If, on the other hand, you are like me and like writing, then write every single day. Write about anything you want and more. Remember one tip. This goes with whether you're writing on pen and paper on a regular journal or whether you join discussion groups or forums, that try not to fall into the trap of just joining groups that have talk about things that you know about a lot. If you know what I mean. So, for example, if you're a doctor, a medical doctor, don't only join groups that deal with medical English, because then you're going to get stuck with being really good with your technical language, but not with your general English. So this is where I often tell students to give some thought to that area in life that makes your heart sing. It's totally private. I know, for example, one of my students adores horses. He rides horses, he loves horses, he has a whole bunch of horses, and I didn't know that about him until I asked him that question. So what makes your heart sing? Whatever that is, write about it, because you'll be motivated to write because you love it so much. So whatever that is, go for it. And if you want any tips and ideas on how to get started, send me a message. I can help you. All right, so that's what you want to do. And for the people that do not like writing, just another extra tip. Perhaps you want to provide yourself with a reward after having successfully finished a writing task that you have set for yourself. It doesn't have to be big. It could be something like, for me, coffee. I only drink decaf coffee for health reasons, but I am allowed to have a good cup of coffee per day. So maybe I would go and have an extra cup of coffee. Could be anything you want, maybe a donut. I don't know what you like. All right, so give yourself a reward for a job well done. All right, the last tip is also very much teachers have used this a lot. You have heard your teachers say this many, many, many times, and it is reading. All right, so reading is essential, because many times the teacher will say you need to read to learn new vocabulary. I'm sure you've heard them say it a lot. But for this particular talk, I'm taking a step back. We're not talking about reading to learn new vocabulary here. Hi guys, wow, I'm blessed. I'm overwhelmed with all of your amazingness. We're talking about reading so that you recognize words that you have already learned. So there is something to be said about that moment when you read and you read a word that you recognize. Oh my gosh, I learned that today or yesterday or the other day in class, and you see it written down on paper. So for the purpose of activating the vocabulary that you know, reading is really, really, really important. But there are specific texts that I recommend that you read. And that is specifically biographies, autobiographies, and memoirs. So stories about people. And the reason why I recommend these for the purpose of activating the vocab that you know is because there are no plots or storylines that you need to concentrate on. And biographies don't they don't usually have rich descriptive language that is necessary for a story. It'll be crisper, so to speak. And a really great place for you to start reading biographies and memoirs that are very short and also include an audio aspect to it is famouspeoplelessons.com. I'm going to add a link to that site in the description box below after the video. With these, there are hundreds of people, past and present, and they have written bios on these people that you can read about and also listen. And there are also some cool exercises that you can do afterwards, comprehension exercises with the answers at the bottom. So that's pretty cool as well. So that's where you want to go. If you want a challenge, poetry. Again, for the reason that with poetry, there are no rules in essence. Okay, there are rules, but not like they would be in regular grammar. There's always the poetic essence of English. So poetry allows you to also determine meaning as well. But start with bios. Bios are really easy to read, and the link which I have recommended, the site I've recommended, is specifically aimed at English language students. So that's awesome. So remember that in doing so, you're not only recognizing vocabulary and activating the vocabulary that you already know, but you will be doing a number of other things. You will be increasing your vocabulary, which is something we'll be talking about in another talk. So you'll be increasing your vocab in context, which is really important, people. Context is everything. You are going to see grammar patterns. So grammar patterns in action. So this is something else that's really, really important. Being able to recognize the grammar that you're learning, and it's in action. And of course, you are going to be strengthening your comprehension, your memory, your concentration, and one of my ultimate favorites, your world knowledge. Because reading opens the world up for you. And now that we are all at home, let's not waste this time and get reading. Get reading. Read and then write about it. I know, I'm a real teacher, hey. Those of you that are listening to me today will know how much I love to read, how much I love to write. So I suppose it comes easy for me. But I understand how challenging it can be to do it in another language. I have been in your shoes before. I know it's really, really tough to make yourself understood sometimes. And I also know the feeling of knowing the words, but not feeling confident enough to use it because of, well, I'm not sure if I'm using the word correctly. At the end of the day, there's also the element of you've just got to do it. A good place to start is your classroom, be it face-to-face or online at this point. Every opportunity that you can to use the language is an opportunity for you to activate passive vocabulary. It's there. You've just got to find it. It's got to find its way out. And only you can do that. So these are my tips for you. Just to recap, you want to ditch the translator. Gone. If you don't know the word, try and describe it using a synonym or other words. Just other words that will help the person to understand what you want to say, or show them what it is that you're looking for. Use your body language, use facial expressions, let them know that you're looking for a word and you need a little help, right? Number 2, say no to the go-to words. Forget about them. You do not want to use words like, such as, like, good, very, really, thing. Forget about them. Use new words, right? Number 3, write. Write as much as you can. If you want to take it digitally, go for it. Use social media, start a blog. And lastly, read. Start small and cultivate the culture of reading. You will not be sorry. Follow those 4 steps and you will activate that vocabulary. I promise you, it will happen. Okay, so just a reminder, I will be online and live again tomorrow for another talk. In the meantime, if you would like more information about our online classes, our virtual classrooms, and online private lessons and other online services, please reach out to us. I'm going to leave our email address and contact information in the description box below after the video, as well as the link to famouspeoplelessons.com so that you can start your reading. Okay, with that, thank you very much for having joined me this afternoon. It was my greatest pleasure and my honor, and thank you very much to everybody. You're so kind. I see some waving going on. Hi, Hassan. It's nice to see you again. I look forward to seeing you guys all tomorrow. Diogo, how's it? If you have joined the video a little late, it's going to go onto our YouTube channel. Please go onto our YouTube channel and watch our videos. Let us know if there's something interesting that you would like me to talk about, and I will be very happy to organize that. So with that, have a wonderful evening to those of you who are wrapping up their day, and have a fantastic day if you have just started your day. Lots of love from Cape Town. Everybody be safe, especially in this time. Ciao, ciao. Bye.